It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. I hope everybody had a great weekend and enjoyed their Sunday with their mothers on this past Mother's Day weekend. And also remind you that this show is on weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And I appreciate you tuning in to this show. And again, this show is all about business owners, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay region. And as always, I like to extend an invite to fellow business owners and people who'd like to make an appearance on the show. Anybody with a great story to tell is also welcome on the show. I love the storytellers. And so you can reach out to me through my website, tampabayradio.com. There is a contact form on the site there, so just click on that and send me a message as to what you're doing and why you'd like to make an appearance on the show. And you can always email me directly, jamie@tampabayradio.com. Also, catch the show on demand at a number of different networking sites, social networking sites. Put the show up on iTunes for podcast enthusiasts, usually within 24 to 48 hours after the show. And you can find the videos over on YouTube. We do stream all the shows live here in studio, so you can catch them on the website, tampabayradio.com, in addition to YouTube as well. I got a great show planned for you today. In just a moment, we'll be talking with Gwen Davies with Bay Cities Bank, talking about the Florida lending environment and about the bank as well. And also on the second part of the show, we'll be talking with Jared Ganem. He is with Fight Sports HD, a live events productions company. So we'll be touching on video editing, things of that nature, and also touching on a little bit about MMA, wrestling. They're involved in all that type of stuff. So got a great interview with him planned for the second half of the show. Going to bring on my first guest for the show this morning. Gwen Davies has more than 21 years of banking experience and is a graduate of Siena College with a bachelor's degree in finance and holds an MBA in finance from Rochester Institute of Technology. Gwen is currently on the board of the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce and a past president and active member of the Rotary Club of Tampa Bay and was past treasurer for Kids Charity Tampa Bay. She is also an alumnus of Leadership West Shore and Leadership Tampa Bay. Gwen, welcome to the show. Hit the button up top there, too.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate being here. Anytime that I get a chance to talk about banking, I love to do that. I don't get often to be on the radio, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is your first time on the radio, so I appreciate you coming into here and let everybody out there know that it's not a scary environment to come in here, right?
No,
I'm always trying to get people
scary
to come in and talk to me each and every morning. Yeah, I make it friendly and stuff in here. So
absolutely. Had my cup of coffee this morning. I'm good to go.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you're a mother of two. How was your Mother's Day weekend?
It was very good. Actually, I have 5. I have 3 stepchildren and 2 small children, so it was a hectic day yesterday, but a great day.
And back to work here on this early Monday morning, but congratulations to you for the 2 children, and I hope you had a great Mother's Day. I myself spent the weekend, I was over at the Kevin Hart show Friday night. Did you happen to take in Kevin Hart by chance?
No, I did not.
I just wanted to talk about that for a moment. Kevin Hart, that guy is probably far one of the funniest comedians on the circuit today, and I hadn't planned on going, but I was over at the convention center at Jane Castor's retirement party, and I was with my friend Marilyn, and I said, let's walk over to the Amalie Arena and see if we can find some tickets. He had sold out both shows that night, so we didn't have tickets. So I went over there. Fortunately, there's a guy who sells tickets on the corner of the street right there in front of it. He owns this little piece of property. So if anybody's ever looking for tickets, there's always somebody right there. I forget his name and his company's name, but he owns that little corner right there. And so he hooked me up with a couple of tickets down front. I was real close to the very front stage there. It was great seats, and it was just an amazing show. So if anybody out there is not listening to Kevin Hart, and I'm somebody that used to do stand-up comedy. I studied comedy for a year and on stage about 60 times, and I love the business, and he actually inspired me to get back on stage and then start working in that arena again. I love comedy, and I mean, he had me dying laughing. I mean, it's rare that you find a comedian as good as him. He is probably on track to be like the next Chris Rock. I mean, he's that level of funny, and just a great show and everything. So glad I got to see that.
I'll have to remember that little corner of the street. If I'm looking for tickets, I'll look for that guy.
Yeah, I got his card. Actually, I will give you his information. And but it was just a great show. And they had the cell phone police out there. No cell phones were allowed, no videos, and they had all these people walking around. And because I thought I'd watched a number of his performances on the on the on YouTube and stuff. I thought that I knew the material that was going to be coming. It was completely new material. I mean, he's got all kinds of stuff. A lot of comedians that you see end up using recycling the same material over and over again. He had all these great stories, and he tells these amazing stories in such a way that with a number of callbacks and tags and references, and it was a phenomenal show. So highly recommend Kevin Hart, and it is a great show. But let's talk more about you and your business here. Now, you're with Bay Cities Bank. So talk to me first of all about the locations and the history of Bay Cities Bank.
Bay Cities is a locally owned community bank. The bank was started in 1999. I have been with the bank collectively for about 11 and a half years. I was gone for a short period of time. But all of our directors are local. All of our directors are local Tampa people. All of our decisions are made locally. We have locations in Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, and Sarasota County. Sarasota was a market that we opened up about 15 months ago as a loan production office and became a branch just a couple of weeks ago. So our corporate office is headquartered in the West Shore area, Corporate Center 4 at International Plaza.
And what is your role within the bank?
I'm the market president for Hillsborough County, which basically the commercial side of the bank and treasury management roll up through me. And Bay Cities is primarily a commercial bank. What we do on the consumer side is more of an accommodation for our existing business customers.
And your daily tasks consist of what? Are you out sourcing new business? Are you in the PR field specifically?
Yeah, I am primarily the production side of the bank. All of the commercial lenders and commercial relationship managers and cash management. So we primarily are looking to bring in new business acquisition, small business lending. We're generally looking for businesses and target businesses that probably have $50 million in sales and below.
And so what is the landscape of Florida banking and the lending environment right now? I mean, are we seeing a transition into a friendlier lending environment for businesses and commercial real estate ventures and things of that nature? Talk to me a little bit about this.
Yeah, the landscape of Florida banking has significantly changed. I started my banking career in 1988, so I think my bio is off a few years, but I'm going on 27 years in the industry. I started on the security side of the business, but yeah, the landscaping of Florida banking has significantly changed.
Is there a lot of small businesses coming to you looking for funding these days versus 5 years ago? Tell me a little bit about the small business environment.
Absolutely. Small business lending has changed. As you know, this market went through significant periods of downturn, not only on real estate, but that impacted every part of the market. And through that time period, it was very difficult for small businesses to get loans, and that has changed. And what is the most significant change, especially over the last 12 months, is during the downturn, it was a lot of banks that were just shifting the business. It was kind of stealing market share, and that was new business to us, but not necessarily new business within the market. Over the last 12 months, we have had what I call real new businesses that are expanding, new locations, startup businesses. That's something that we have not seen in the last 5-6 years.
What are you seeing with business owners? What are they? What type of services or products are you seeing? A certain type of area of a business that people are kind of going towards, or is it mostly service-based stuff, product-based stuff? Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing from the different entrepreneurs.
Yeah, their
out there.
needs are primarily real estate. We're seeing them expand to new locations, so they've got real estate needs. Whether that's construction of a new office building or purchase of some kind of office building or industrial building, whatever their business happens to be. Also, the need for working capital. They're looking for ways for them to improve their working capital situation. Also, term debt. They look for, I would say, existing, perhaps purchase of equipment, those type of things. Vehicles are typically what you use for term debt.
Do you usually take most small business owners down the SBA path, or is there a lot more investors out there willing to fund these small businesses right now?
SBA is a great option. We do have an SBA area within the bank. It's a specific division. Not all banks, especially community banks, have separate divisions that underwrite, market, all to themselves and process. We do have a very, very good SBA program. Our SBA manager has been in the business for 30 years. So that's something that's really very, very valuable to small business customers and prospects. The programs of the SBA, both the 7A and the 504 programs, have become easier to work with. They're not as long of a process. So the process has been streamlined, and some of the criteria that used to prohibit some businesses from being eligible for the SBA programs, those have changed a little bit. So you have more companies that are now eligible for those loans, and they're taking advantage of those. We've done quite a bit of SBA lending in the last 12 months, and we've continued to see in the first quarter a lot more of those, as well as conventional loans.
So is it safe to say that Bay Cities Bank is a very business-friendly, commercial-friendly institution? So people that are, a lot of people that, listen to the show, are thinking about starting businesses, things of that nature. So Bay Cities Bank is definitely a resource for them. Is that safe to say?
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people think of SBA as just for businesses that are startup. That's not necessarily true. The advantages of the SBA for even existing businesses that have been in business for a number of years that may be looking to expand, it's a really great option and provides some really good features for them that they might not ever have thought about or get on a conventional basis, just lower down payments, rates that are longer term fixed rates if you're doing a 504, but just a lot of really great features for that program.
And people that are interested in learning more, they can visit the website bay-cities-bank.com for some more information. Got to take a quick break. Coming back into the break, I want to talk a little bit about your community involvement. You're very involved in the Tampa Bay community, and also touch on some of the regulatory challenges that you're facing in the banking industry. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727 347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Slow traffic this morning southbound Veterans Expressway between Gunn Highway and Waters Avenue. Also southbound 275 is stop and go from Fletcher Avenue to Hillsborough Avenue. And look out for delays southbound along I-75 between Fletcher and I-4. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Nuance Document Imaging. A printer that is not secure is a printer that exposes your company to a big risk. Don't take chances with unattended documents or scans emailed to the wrong address. Gain control over your business documents. Nuance.com/gain control.
Today, a 20% chance of afternoon rain with a high 90. Tonight, mostly clear, low 73. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 90.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Please keep this show on the dial every weekday at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And this show, again, all about business owners, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay community. Also, if you're in the office or at home, you can catch the live stream on your desktop or your smartphone device. Just head over to tampabayradio.com. There is a button for the live stream, so you can see all the action here in the studio. And also, if you're watching the live stream, we put a number of different things up on the stream that if you're just listening on the airwaves, you wouldn't be able to see. But again, head over to tampabayradio.com where you can catch the live stream. And also look me up on all the different social networking sites, facebook.com/That Business Show. And also, please follow me over on Twitter under the handle Jamie_Maloney. Currently talking with Gwen Davey, Market President for Bay Cities Bank here in Hillsborough County. And I wanted to touch on a little bit about the regulatory challenges that you're facing in the banking business. Obviously, Dodd-Frank came down in 2010, which was like a big tornado through the banking business. But talk to me about some of the regulatory challenges that you're facing in the banking business right now.
Yeah, there's been very, very significant changes, as we talked about very briefly at the start of the show. The landscape of banking has changed, and that really is focused on a lot of changes with regard to intermediaries. We have non-traditional bank lending out there. Also, a lot of technological changes that have changed our environment, and also shift in customer preferences. We have a range of clients. We've got baby boomers, we've got Generation X, Generation Y, millennials, all of those preferences, and also economic fluctuation. So that has changed the climate of banking. If you look in Florida, the last newly created chartered commercial bank in Florida opened up in 2010, and the last in Tampa Bay was 2007. We've had significant in the community bank, and that's the space that I primarily have worked for 11 and a half years, as I said. In 2007, we had about 276 community banks. We have about 180 now. So the shift, if I go back to a 25-year timeline in banks, of community banks, in that timeline, you'd have an 80%, Florida lost 80% of its community banks, about 670 banks. So shift to less banks in the market. And why has that occurred? What did occur? What was the regulatory burden? And that stemmed from Dodd-Frank. Kind of in a nutshell, I would say that the compliance and oversight that the banks now have to be burdened with. And I say that in terms of burden may be a strong word when you hear it, but it takes extreme resources, not just personnel, but financial resources to be able to comply with a lot of the regulatory requirements that have come down. Some of them quite clearly necessary, as we have seen. There was need for some changes, but really the reach that has occurred is a little bit onerous, especially for community banks. Community banks have significant operating costs. About 12% of their operating costs, give or take, are really targeted toward being able to comply. We're adding compliance officers and those type of personnel versus lending officers and production people. So when you have that, you see that it's quite a lot to be able to comply. And I think an unintended consequence of some of that is that community banks have gotten out of lending and doing certain types of lending. If you notice in this market, and you're in real estate, we exited the residential lending.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you're involved in residential lending.
We
yes.
were, and we exited that in January of 2014. There's other banks within the Tampa market that also exited that business because it just wasn't really worth it for us to do. If you do a cost-benefit analysis of having more oversight, more compliance people to do residential lending, we weren't doing the transaction volume to make it make sense. And I think an unintended consequence of that is that consumers have less of a choice in the market, particularly here, have less of a choice of who they're going to do their residential loans with because there's less people in the market. And it's primarily because they don't want the burden and the possible consequences of regulatory oversight in that area.
Yeah. Excuse me. You're still involved, though, with commercial lending, though. So that's your primary.
95% commercial. We're doing all small business and commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is a very big part of our bank, as well as a lot of banks in Tampa.
How much difficulty did Dodd-Frank add to the small business startup companies and things like that when they came to the banks and wanted to get a loan? How did Dodd-Frank impact them specifically?
It made it very difficult. A lot of banks were just not going to lend. I think that especially over the period of the downturn, banks were very internally focused on just trying to work out their real estate loans. There were just no banks that were going to do a lot of small business lending because clearly the financial statements of those small businesses did not look that good, and there weren't healthy balance sheets.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult. So that there was a lot of implications, I think, and again, still continuing because now we're implementing what was passed as that Dodd-Frank, and this will go on, the implementation of those requirements over the next couple of years continuing. But
you're seeing a revitalization, though, in the community with small businesses and commercial lending. So we're kind of coming out of that, that initial rush of regulatoriness, I guess you could say, correct?
I think there's segments of the market that banks are staying away from. And as I said, it was residential lending, some specialty lending that we're not doing anymore, kind of I call plain vanilla small business lending. If you are owner-managed business, that's one of the things that's probably come back a little bit, looking for, as I said before, short-term working capital, perhaps a new loan for their business, real estate.
And we got about a minute left. You're also very involved with the community, as is the bank. Tell me ways that you and the bank are giving back to the community as well. I know you wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, we are extremely involved in the community. All of our officers are involved in certain organizations. I'm a member of the Tampa Chamber. I'm on the board of the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce. I'm very active within that. Their Small Business of the Year program. A lot of our officers are involved with Rotary organizations and other charities within the environment. We've helped out Metropolitan Ministries. We have Alpha House. One of our compliance officers is on the board of that, as well as just various organizations.
Well, great interview, and also thanks to you for giving back to the community and being so very involved, and also for a great interview telling us about Bay Cities Bank. Thank you, Gwen.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that was Gwen Davey. She is the market president of Hillsborough County at Bay Cities Bank. Learn more about them at bay-cities-bank.com. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
White House Networks Traffic Center.
Slow traffic this morning, southbound Veterans Expressway between Gunn Highway and Waters Avenue. Also southbound 275 is stop and go from Fletcher Avenue to Hillsborough Avenue. And look out for delays southbound along I-75 between Fletcher and I-4. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today's forecast, a few scattered showers in the afternoon, otherwise mostly sunny, going up to 91. Heading down to 73 tonight, with again a chance of rain before midnight. Tomorrow, 3 and 10 rain chance, heading up to near 90. 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Thanks for tuning in this early Monday morning. Keep in mind, this show is on each weekday at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and you can learn more about this show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Also on the site, you'll notice that I sell real estate, so if you're in the market to possibly sell your home, there is a tab on the main page that says Sell Your House. Just click on that, put in the information on your home, and I'll send you over a free home valuation. Values in the Tampa Bay market have come up about 15 to 20% since 2012. So if you bought your home in the northern Tampa area, southeastern Hillsborough County, around 2012, you're might be surprised what your home is worth and what you could get for your home if you're not paying attention to the real estate market. We've had some pretty good demand coming in from institutional investors, and they've pushed up values about 15 to 20%. And so if you're interested in getting a home valuation, just head over to TampaBayRadio.com and click on the Sell Your House link. I'm going to bring in my second guest for the show. Jared Ganem is the creative force behind one of the fastest and ambitious live event production companies in the world. Within a year's time, Jared has took his unique style and approach from concept to the international stage at an award-winning level. He is here today talking about Fight Sports HD, a live events production company. So, Jared, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Jamie, thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you very much for stopping in this morning as well. So first of all, tell me about your company, Fight Sports HD.
Well, Fight Sports HD, what we do is if you were to watch ESPN or any type of live event production, what we do is we have tons of cameras, tons of we have a video production truck, and we produce everything live as if it was national TV. We do a lot of national broadcasts, and our original goal behind this was there's a whole lot of amateur and regional wrestling or MMA promotions. We want to make them look as good as WWE or as good as, a UFC or as good as a national production. So our whole goal coming into it was how can we do that and make it affordable and still make these lesser companies look gigantic. And what ended up happening was kind of like perception became reality. We were making these small companies look so big that the big companies started calling us.
That's awesome. Now, how long have you been in business right now for this?
We've been in business. This is going on our second year. So we're about a year and a half right now. And basically what happened is back in 2013, I got married, and I was in a dead-end job, and I hated what I was
right?
doing. And it was like, if I don't make a move now, I'm not going to make a move. So basically about 2013, around April, I quit my job and just kind of ventured off on my own, and things have seems to work out so far.
No, it's incredible. Your website, fightsportshd.com. People can get some more information as we're talking throughout the interview on this site, fightsportshd.com. Now, were you trained in video and live events production? Do you have a background in that? How did you get in that space?
It's one of those things where I could tell you I went to high school and college, but basically with high school and college and video, they said, hey, here's a camera, figure it out, if that makes sense. So a lot of it was self-taught. Mm-hmm. But a funny story, actually, the reason I'm in the MMA and wrestling world in the first place is because I was almost hired to be a WWE wrestler.
Oh, cool. I've had a couple wrestler guys in the show. We talk about that for time. But go ahead. How did that come about?
Well, my whole thing was I was always a creative guy. I love storytelling. I loved, telling stories through video, through media. And my goal was always I loved wrestling, just not because of the violence or the athleticism, but because of it's good versus evil. Mm-hmm. It's movies. They do movie trailers before they show, the fights and stuff like that. It was really, like you'd see a TV show, and I wanted to get into producing that. But my whole thing was I wanted to get credibility before I entered that world. So I wanted to wrestle for maybe 5 years, and then I wanted to retire and be the production guy for WWE. So what ended up happening was I'm a pretty big guy, but I'm not 6'5". I'm not 500 pounds or anything like that. So my size was a little bit of an issue, but I just skipped all of that. I started doing my own production company, and I learned a lot through osmosis from being there. And I'm able to take that to my clients and really, make them look big time as well.
Did you go to professional wrestling school, or how did you break into that business?
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things where it's like you like it, you kind of get in, and as you get bigger in the ranks, it's kind of like a AAA baseball system where you move your way up the ranks, and WWE was scouting me for a short period of time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you have a gimmick or anything? Did you have a character at that time?
They changed. I was basically the local guy to get beat up in 10 seconds.
You're in the jobber category then? So.
Yeah, more or less when I was doing my small little run there.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of what got me into this. But the whole thing that I learned in wrestling is what I took with me to video production is perception is reality. Mm-hmm. So if you just kind of come in and your character is meek and mild and this and that, then the fans don't take you seriously. So what I do in my productions is how do I make these athletes, or how do I make these events larger than life? How do I make them look bigger than they might really be, or how do I make them even look better than they are? Because as a matter of fact, I have two businesses. My other business is Creative Innovations Video, and the reason why I have two is basically because I didn't want to, do doctors and lawyers videos and have them write a check out to Fight Sports HD.
Right, I understand that.
But my primary business is actually Creative Innovations Video. We do a whole lot of small business videos and commercials and things of that nature. But what I've taken to that is when you look at local commercials, a lot of times, businesses could be great, but they don't have that special thing that makes them stand out. Maybe the commercial looks like somebody made it on iMovie or very amateur quality. Mm-hmm. Your audience will see that, and if it's not a certain quality that they're used to, they're going to associate you with lesser quality. So our whole thing was, how do we make you look as good as you really are? You can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't look that way, the fans or your audience or your customer,
you got a great video running up on your other website here, creativeinnovationsvideo.com. Yeah, this is a very nice site here. So in addition to the Fight Sports HD website, you have the creativeinnovationsvideo.com, and so people can peruse both of these sites. So let's make it clear here: you do video production, live event production. You're not just in the fighting and MMA space. I mean, you can help anybody in any of the fields with video.
Absolutely. I don't want to come across as I'm just some wrestling fan or an MMA guy. Basically what happened is, I told you I quit my job about a year and a half ago, and I was looking for a way to make it work. And it was maybe like the first 6 months I was, out of work, and I was really trying to figure it out. And I got lucky. I had a couple of really big clients, but I had always had a full-time job, so I was comfortable. It was the first period of time when all of a sudden there weren't any new clients. I had just started I didn't know what I was doing, and a real fear, set in. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how to get new clients. So basically what happened is I just had this idea where I have all this experience in wrestling, all this experience in MMA, and I took a crapshoot at it. You know, like you guys have your live stream going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was starting out as of a similar level, just starting out with like live stream and stuff like that. I started going to local events, and I started getting basically I was almost giving stuff away for free just as like an opportunity cost, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
You know, so it was like, okay, I'll do the first one for $400, but the next one I'll give you $400 off, you know, and then it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger over the course of time. But there was a real concern that I wasn't going to make it, you know.
Every entrepreneur has that. Yeah, you're not alone. We're all there at some point.
But one lesson that I learned though was I used to be the type of guy where I wouldn't start something unless I knew it would work. And now that I've started business, I really realized that just go and do something. Don't be afraid to fail. You know, do your best. And the best way to learn is to fail and get better every time. You know, my first live event wasn't that great. As time went on, they got a lot better to the point where some of the national companies were calling me.
Yeah, and I see you you received an award, correct, at the 2014, or you were involved with the 2014 MMA Awards. Tell me about this.
Yeah, well, within the course of the year, we went from we were just doing small local Tampa Bay companies, but like I said, they were small companies, and we made them look like they would be on a national television network to the point where bigger companies started calling us. So we started doing all of those. And in a very, very short period of time, we went from just doing small companies to we went overseas to London. We did 10,000-seat arenas, stuff like that. We ended up winning the best production for live events in this whole region.
No, congratulations.
So, thank you, guys.
Absolutely great. I mean, that's just a great, inspirational story. I love to hear about people that, quit their jobs and go out there and do something that makes a difference and something that makes them happy. And so who are your business partners? I mean, who are you working with right now?
Well, as far as who I work with, or as far as who my clients are?
Clients or business partners?
My clients right now, I have a bunch of them. One of them is Fighter Source. They're the largest MMA league in the world. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make mixed martial arts an Olympic sport. So they go around, not unlike an NBA or an NFL. They have different MMA teams in each region,
okay,
and they have a round robin tournament, and they go state to state. So last year alone, we hit I don't know even how many states, but we went coast to coast from Florida all the way to California, Denver. We went overseas to London. We were producing shows there. Another client we have is House of Fame MMA. They're running big shows at the Bank United Center in Miami. That's a huge 8 to 10,000 seat arena.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as creative innovations go, here locally in Tampa, there's World Class Fight League. They've been around for 2 or 3 years. But on the creative innovation side, one of our partners is Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful, and they're a nonprofit organization doing beautification projects for Tampa, cleanups and stuff like that. Then we have numerous doctors and law offices and things of that nature.
Now I know professional wrestling is big in the Tampa Bay region. We had a school here. I think it moved over to Orlando though, but I didn't know about MMA. Is that big in the Tampa Bay region, or do you have to travel?
MMA, I think, is going to be the next big thing. In that industry, not to take a knock on wrestling, but it just seems like. But
is it big around the Tampa Bay region?
There's a school all over the place. There's always an amateur event going on, or even professional events. There's always something going on, which has kept us busy. I would say that probably 90 to 95% of our clients are mixed martial arts clients, and maybe the other 5 to 10 are wrestling clients at this point.
So you competed in the professional wrestling space for a while. Did you ever compete in the MMA space as well?
I never did, but what I found was there's a lot of transferable skills. And here's the thing: we're not camera guys. We're not necessarily, you could hire a camera company and they could hold your camera and film your show. I think what sets us apart is it's not skill, it's psychology. We don't film it as if it's two guys beating each other up, or we don't film it as if it's a sporting event. We film it as far as like, we want to get the emotion. We want to tell the story. Will the underdog win his fight? Will the guy come back from nowhere and, defy the odds and become the champion? We want to get that emotion, that storytelling. So we don't film it like camera guys. We film it like storytellers or cinematographers, really.
So as a new business owner, a couple years into business, you've obviously grown this very well. And I mean, it's very impressive, just hearing your story so far. What do you see as some of the biggest hurdles to overcome within your business right now?
Within my personal business, I would have to say the biggest hurdle would be to go from being a owner to going from being an operator to a true business owner. I'm still so new where I wear a lot of hats. A lot of things come right down to me. I'm starting to learn to delegate. I have a great team. I have about 9 guys that work with me. But a lot of times, not that I step on their toes, but I'm still like, I know how to do it right. So I think one of the biggest challenges is learning how to take a step back, trust your team, let them handle a lot of stuff, and basically go from being a one-man show to having a true business. But it's one of those things where you have certain problems in business, but they're not real problems. It's just a growth process, like growing pains and stuff like that. So
right.
I think just going from a solo operator to a true business owner is the stage that we're in right now. It's bigger than just me.
Yeah, well, it's a great story, and hopefully people that are listening that are in that, place in their life where they're wanting to start a new business are inspired by your story. That's part of, why I'm doing this show. I want to inspire other business owners to step out of their comfort zone and do something, such as what you have just done with your company, both FightSportsHD.com and CreativeInnovationsVideo.com. I got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, we'll be talking a little bit more with Jared Ganem, owner of Creative Innovations Video and also Fight Sports HD, here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Stop and go traffic across the span of the Howard Franklin Bridge. Look out for an accident right before Kennedy Boulevard causing some of these delays. Also, a crash reported northbound Clearwater Largo Road just south of West Bay Drive. Only the right lane getting by through that area. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Nuance Document Imaging. Scanning a document has made life at the office so much easier. Unfortunately, it's also easy to scan a document and email it to the wrong address by accident. Gain control over your printers and reduce the risk. Nuance.com/gain control.
Today, a 20% chance of afternoon rain with a high 90. Tonight, mostly clear, low 73. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance, high 90.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Thanks for tuning in this early Monday morning. Keep in mind, you can find this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And also visit TampaBayRadio.com, where you can listen to the show and also watch us live in studio via the live stream link. And also, please connect with me on all the social networking sites, Facebook.com/That Business Show, Twitter under the handle Jamie_Meloni, just to name a few of them. Currently talking with Jared Ganem. He is the owner of Creative Innovations Video and also Fight Sports HD. They are a live event video production company, but you offer a number of services. And I see that you've done events in 20,000 seat arenas and also small VFW halls. I mean, you cover the gamut in terms of video production and live event productions. But you offer a number of other services as well, video editing services, things of that nature. Talk to me about some of the services that your company offers.
Yeah, for sure. We're a full service video production company. We do a lot of live events. Sporting events are our biggest thing. I always like to look at it as, here's a metaphor. If you want to be in good shape, listen to a bodybuilder, even though you might not want to be a bodybuilder. He probably knows, good diet, good nutrition, stuff like that. We've done gigantic, like really, really large sporting events in these gigantic arenas. But we're also able to effectively do smaller events as well. So we also do, on the creative innovation side, for those listening, we have two businesses. We do Creative Innovations, which is very general business. And then we have Fight Sports HD, which is a more niche business because that's taken off. But we do conferences, we do concerts, stage productions, things of that nature. And we're able to switch it all live. So basically it saves you, in the long run, it saves you money because you don't have to pay for the editing time. The turnaround time is very quick. Like you guys are streaming live right now, you're switching.
Right.
Just picture that at an arena, basically what you'd see on TV. So we take anything, and I'm a firm believer, like I said before, perception's reality. So we can do business conferences, concerts, sporting events, and then on the video editing side, we do commercials, 2D, 3D motion graphics. We can do your storyboarding. I like to think of ourselves like we can even help you out with your marketing if we really had to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we do just about everything when it comes to
So you do commercials.
production.
I see also Jumbotron content, voiceover as well. So you have people on staff to help with the voiceovers and commercials.
We have a male and a female voiceover talent. I'm sorry, I what was the first thing that you said there as well?
You were talking you do the commercials and also Jumbotron content.
And Jumbotron content, for example, 3D graphics. When you go to the Rays game or a Lightning game and you see all the 3D logos smashing the screen, we make all of those as well.
So tell me about the structure of the company right now. How many people do you have on staff? Is it is it just a few people? Tell me a little bit about the structure right now.
It's a few people on actual staff. We have 3 people working in the office, including myself. We have a host of freelancers nationwide that we partnered with because we do travel to California and Denver and a bunch of other places. Locally, we basically have people that are exclusive to us, but we use them on a per project basis. Type of thing. But the structure of the company organization-wise is we have Creative Innovations Video, which is like the heart and soul. That's how we do all of our commercials, long-form videos, documentaries, business commercials, doctors, lawyers, dentists, things of that nature.
What do you look for in your crew members and your staff? Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for to grow your company.
Sure. Company culture is essential, and this goes to any business. If you bring in somebody that's not good for your culture, even if they're really, really talented, it'll bring your whole operation down. So the first thing I look for is he a cool guy or a cool girl? Right. Are they good people to hang out with? Do they have good morals? Are they punctual, on time? They could be the most talented person in the world. If they're depressed, they're going to bring everybody down with you. So we put a lot of focus on company culture. All of our guys like hanging out with each other. Everybody likes to. We all like to do the same things. I'm a believer of if you really like what you're doing, you're never working. So I don't look at it like we're doing work. We're just doing cool. We're just doing cool stuff, and we're doing it together, and we're having a blast doing it.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy most about this new venture of yours? I mean, it's not so much new. I mean, you're a couple years into this now. But tell me, what do you enjoy most about being a business owner and an entrepreneur, and in this field specifically?
I gotta tell you. I told you I was working 9 to 5. I hated it. There's freedom. There's stress, but the thing is, ultimately, you're the master of your own destiny. I used to feel like I could get hired or fired at my old boss's will. If the wind blew him the wrong way, he would be upset and fire everybody. There was no certainty. And now being a business owner, there is no certainty at all, for sure. But for some reason, I felt more comfortable that I was in control of my own destiny. And it's not so much setting your own schedule. You think it'll be easier as a business owner, but all of a sudden now you're working, instead of working an 8-hour day, you're working 20-hour days, right? Because that's all you think about. But yeah, I mean that's really. What line of work were you in before you started the video production company? I was doing general video editing for a smaller company. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And at that time, were you going through the professional wrestling space? And did you think that there was a time that you obviously said you almost got hired by the WWE? Correct? Yeah, I had been out of wrestling for a while. So basically, I was a New England guy. I was born and raised in New England, and I came down to Florida for that opportunity. But that had came and gone, and I just kind of settled into a video editing job at that point. But the whole wrestling thing, what that taught me, like I said, perception's reality. How do you make things bigger than they are? How do you make things look as good as they really are? And how do you really get the most out of what you're putting on television? So I've taken all those soft skills and those transferable skills. I add them to my productions for businesses. I add them to my productions for live events. I add them to my productions for sporting events. How do I make you guys look bigger or better or as good as you really are? And so what advice do you give to those that are less experienced or curious about your industry and people that are, in the video production business? If you're in the video production business, my advice would be to just begin and don't be afraid to fail. I said it earlier. My biggest thing is I would never start something until I thought I could do it perfectly. That's not so much the case. Now it's like, do it, try it, do it well, figure out where you're deficient, and just keep getting better as time goes on. Because you're never going to do your first big client unless you do your first big client, if that makes any sense. So You have to do it. You have to get your feet wet. Just go for it. For people that are looking to get this type of stuff, I mean, really, whether it's commercials, sporting events, live events, anything, if you don't have a product, and a lot of times companies will skimp on production because that's an afterthought. Like, oh, I need to book the event, I need to get the commercial, I need to get something out there, and they'll skimp on the production to save money. That's your product, that's your image. If you skimp there, the audience will not take you seriously if you don't look serious or if you don't look as good as you really are. And the two companies, again, I want to touch on, I've got about a minute left, creativeinnovationsvideo.com and also fightsportshd.com. Which one's, what industry is keeping you the busiest? Is it the MMA business or is it your creative innovations business? On a day-to-day, creative innovations will, because there's all sorts of, editing projects going on. On a monthly basis, I think Fight Sports HD does the biggest events once a month or so, but on a day-to-day, creative innovations keeps me quite busy as well. Well, hey, some great information. Jared, thank you very much for being in studio today and inspiring some other business owners to step outside the box and do what they love. Thanks a lot, Jamie. I appreciate you guys having me on. Absolutely. That was Jared Ganem, owner of Creative Innovations Video and also Fight Sports HD. Learn more about them at creativeinnovationsvideo.com and also at the website fightsportshd.com. Hope everybody has a great Monday morning. Catch me back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.